I'm joined now by Simon Jäger. He's an associate professor in economics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Claudia Goldin and Simon Jäger worked together at Harvard. Simon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Simon, if you would have to summarize Claudia Goldin's single most impactful idea, how would you summarize it for viewers?
I think her biggest idea is to use the power of economics, theory, and data to understand the evolution of women's participation in the labor market, in particular in the US, over the last 200 years.
And how influential have her ideas, her work, been for economics as a discipline?
They've been enormously influential, and so the award today is richly deserved. And she has won many awards in the past, and including some. Also here today, my capacity as the head of IZA, a German labor economics institute, and we awarded her our IZA prize in labor economics in 2016. So I think the profession as a whole had been expecting that Claudia Goldin would at some point win a Nobel Prize for her path-breaking and trailblazing work. And so it's a very happy day for, I think, the labor economics community, the economic history community, and all those who are interested in what economics has to contribute to the real world.
Speaking about the real world, if we move outside of the economic discipline, how can her work be influential for everyday people concretely?
Well, I think her work is, and that's the beauty of studying a social science like economics, is very concrete in terms of its applications for our everyday lives. So she studies the reasons why women still do not participate to the same extent as men in the labor market, why there's still a persistent earnings gap between men and women. And her work clarifies some misconceptions, or clears up some misconceptions about why that is, and shows us directions into what are the actual factors why even today in 2023, in many countries in the US, also in Europe, and around the world, there are pretty large gaps. And part of her work shows that large gaps in labor market participation and earnings between men and women emerge after the first child of a woman is born. So that's when the trajectories in a way diverge between men and women. And she particularly shows the role that labor market flexibility, so the ability to work flexible hours or have some autonomy over one's schedule, are an important factor, or the lack thereof leading women to participate not as much in the labor market, in particular once they or if and when they have had a child. And secondly, the role that norms play within households. So norms regarding which partner in a couple should be particularly responsible for looking after children, for housework. And so, well, many of us, I think, have like strong, perhaps preconceived notions of what are important factors regarding these questions, because in many of our lives, it plays a direct role. Claudia Goldin's work has, uses the best type of data to provide evidence-based answers to these questions.
Great. So some concrete answers coming out of Goldin's work there. And already talking about the role of women in the workplace, Claudia Goldin is only the third woman to win a Nobel Prize in economics, and she's actually the first woman to win it solo rather than sharing the prize in a team. Does this award reflect a growing attention towards women in the economic discipline?
So I think Claudia Goldin definitely has been a trailblazer in the discipline. So she has been the first in many dimensions. And she was, for example, the first woman to be offered a tenured position at the Harvard economics department. And I think our discipline is catching up with the amazing contributions that women and many other groups that are in the past and even today are not equitably represented on our faculty rosters of universities around the world are contributing. And so I think it is great that this really important work that really changes the way we look at important parts of our economy is getting the attention that it deserves.
Right. And you worked closely with her in the past. Maybe you could give us an idea of what Claudia Goldin is like as a person.
So she was not part of my PhD committee, but I had the privilege of working in the same department during my PhD as she is. And so she is a wonderful researcher and a wonderful human being. And she is, I think she has touched the lives of many people in the profession and in the department where she works in a very positive way. And I think she is, for example, an amazing dog trainer as well. So if you look at one of the pictures, one of the cartoons that the Nobel Committee put together, it shows a detective with a dog, and that's her and her husband's dog Pica. And so she has, I think, rich interests outside of economics, and I know she has been an incredibly important mentor, in particular to many many women in the Harvard economics program, in the profession, in the American Economic Association, where she's been the president, and she's influenced the professional lives, the lives of many of her students. For example, some of her one of her really important papers is with Cecilia Rouse, who was President Biden's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors until last year, is currently the president of the Brookings Institution. And there they studied discrimination against women in the top musical orchestras, the symphony orchestras in the US. So the Boston Symphony, the New York Philharmonic, and LA, when they introduced auditions behind curtains. And Claudia Goldin and Cecilia Rouse, who's been, a leader in the profession as well, and one of her students, have really done amazing work showing the role that blind auditions and in turn discrimination have played in the past in holding back women, and what levers we have to get, in this case, more equitable representation and better music.
Great. So many concrete applications to her work there. Simon Jäger, thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.